friends, I am Dr. Meeta, a practicing homeopathy doctor in Chennai. In this presentation, I am going to discuss about the hormonal imbalance. The majority of the women, particularly the urban women, are prone to develop this problem, and due to the lack of real mentorship, they do not understand what is the real cause of this and what is the real treatment of this. So many of the female, they undergo a wrong medication, and which finally lead them in the complication of developing further new problems. And it is high time now to educate the women population about this problem. There is a condition called amenorrhea. Amenorrhea means there is a absence of menses. The monthly menstrual cycle, if it is absent for the consecutive 3 months, then we say it is a secondary amenorrhea. In case of a woman, if it happens, then where she will go? First, she will go to the gynecologist. Now what happens? The doctor will try to find out first what is the cause of this problem. Is it the pregnancy, or the breastfeeding stage, or the menopause stage? If all these three are not there, then what can be the other cause? It can be the idiopathic. Idiopathic means the cause is not known. Theoretically it sounds good, but practically how the patient is going to be convinced about that? If there is an effect, if there is a symptom, then definitely some cause will be there in behind. If little bit we will investigate into the medical history and the living style, lifestyle of the woman, that time we will come to know, yes, there is a cause, that is the stress, the mental stress for a prolonged time. In other words, it can be said as the prolonged grief, anxiety, all those things. But now question comes whether this stress is able to bring the hormonal imbalance in the body. How can we relate the stress and hormonal imbalance? Because stress happens in our mind and hormonal imbalance happens in the body. Can there be a relationship established in between these two? Very true. How it can happen? How the mental stress can bring the hormonal imbalance? Let us understand a little bit with the help of the physiology. In our brain, there is a part called hypothalamus. So when we undergo a prolonged stress or severe stress, then that hypothalamus part of the brain that will stimulate to the adrenal gland, that is also present in our brain. This adrenal gland, it will produce the stress hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, etc. If these hormones are produced, then the body shows the stress response like increased heartbeat, sweating, palpitation. If we are under stress, we get all these symptoms. So these symptoms comes because of these hormones, stress hormones. Now there is another function of this stress hormone, cortisol, is that it can reduce the female hormones like estrogen, progesterone, etc., which are being produced in the ovary of a woman. And these hormones are responsible for maintaining the menstrual cycle also. During the 30-day cycle, the first 15 days cycle, we say the progesterone is dominant, and the second 15 days we say the estrogen is dominant in case of a woman. So when this balance between these female hormones is disturbed because of the stress hormone cortisol, then it is said the hormonal imbalance. Now there is another way also to produce hormonal imbalance. How does this hypothalamus of the brain here, what we have seen, also it has the ability to stimulate pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is a gland that is also present in our brain. That gland is responsible to stimulate ovary in a woman. Ovaries will produce the hormone, as I told you, estrogen and progesterone, etc. Now, if we are under stress, then the hypothalamus from the brain itself, it can block the stimulation of this pituitary gland. So there is no question of further release of estrogen, progesterone, etc. So naturally this will lead to the absence of menses because of the low level of estrogen and progesterone. These are the two ways physiologically how the stress can bring hormonal imbalance in a woman. Why about hormonal imbalance in the form of menstrual abnormality or amenorrhea? Many n number of symptoms we can find because of the hormonal imbalance. The thyroid imbalance, the premenstrual syndrome, like before menses appear, lot of irritability, anger, anxiety, all these things, back pain, etc. in a woman. Hirsutism means the abnormal facial hair in case of a woman. Like a male, the lady will develop mustache, beard, all that. Uterus fibroid is quite common because of hormonal imbalance. Ovary cyst also will be can be possible because of this hormonal imbalance. So these are some of the other effects than the amenorrhea, what we discussed at the beginning. Because of the stress, all these can happen. Now the poor patient who is unaware of all these, what measures she supposed to take? If she goes and approaches any conventional doctor, then first we will check in the conventional system which hormones are abnormal in your body. Yes, such and such hormones are abnormal. So what they will do, they will prescribe you to consume the hormonal tablets. If it is a thyroid problem, they will write the thyroid tablets, that is the thyroid hormonal tablets. Every day you have to consume in the empty stomach in the morning, etc. If it is a menstrual irregularity, then progesterone, estrogen tablets will be prescribed, prolactin tablets sometimes they prescribe. So all these tablets are the hormonal tablets by which we consume the hormones from outside, or these tablets you can say is an external supply of the hormones. So by consuming these tablets, we add to the input of those hormones in our body. But ever we thought whether this is a true approach to treat hormonal imbalance? Because the human physiology is such a system where all these required hormones are produced inside our body only. Insulin, thyroid, progesterone, estrogen, prolactin, everything has to be produced inside our body only. We have the glands inside our body to secrete all these things, which will be secreting all these hormones upon being stimulated by brain. So if there is any disorder in any part of our body which results in the improper production of the hormone, then what should be the proper treatment? Treatment should aim at correcting that disordered part so that again the normalcy comes back and again the gland starts secreting those hormones correctly in the required amount. Instead of correcting that disorder part, just what we will do, we will keep on supplying the hormonal intake from outside, and we say, yes, we are able to now balance the hormones. Will it be a real cure? Can it cure the internal disordered part? No, not at all, because that internal disordered part has remained untouched here. This is true with any kind of hormonal treatment in the conventional therapy. whether it is a diabetes under insulin or it is a thyroid problem or any kind of hormonal treatment you take, this is the approach we have in the conventional system. That is the reason the conventional therapy for hormonal imbalance most of the time fails. Here what happens? You keep on taking the thyroid tablet. Once you withdraw the tablet, after 3-4 months, again you are back to the same position. You keep on taking the insulin injections every day. Once you stop it, again your sugar level goes up. So people, they create certain myths in their mind. Oh, I got thyroid. Now I have to be under treatment for lifelong. Oh, I got diabetes. Throughout the life I have to be under treatment. These are the myths that people develop because of this kind of treatment what they are exposed to. Now the very important point, how homeopathy treats the hormonal imbalance. There is a peculiar approach in homeopathy. See, stress is quite common for everyone in this world, and it's a very quite common word. But each individual's response to stress is different from rest of the others. How? If number one patient goes under stress, he develops headache. Number two patient under professional stress for a prolonged time developed diabetes. Number three patient under a prolonged stress developed peptic ulcer. Sometimes because of stress, someone becomes quite reserved, doesn't speak to others, doesn't take rest, do not get sleep. All that problems happens because of the stress. So these are the individualistic responses to the stress. Homeopathy picks up that individualistic character and prescribes on that peculiar character. We have the medicines depending upon such symptoms. For example, after a prolonged period of grief, mental stress, a lady develops a character of staying absolutely reserved. She will never share her feelings with anyone. Whether you scold, whether you encourage her, whether you pat her, whatever you do, she will remain within herself. She will bottle up everything, all emotions inside, whether it is sad or happy or anger, whatever. In that case, absolutely reserved personality, we have a medicine called natrum mur. This natrum mur is the indicated remedy whether she undergoes, whether she has a thyroid problem, whether she has diabetes problem, whether she has a menstrual problem, whatever may be. If this kind of characteristic she develops, then we give natrum mur. Next is another example, a lady comes with a telltale face. That means the face itself will be a story, telling a story. So sad, so depressed, morose. As soon as you start discussing about her case, she will start crying and unstoppable weeping. She will go on crying. Here the indicated remedy is sepia because the stress is expressed in the form of tears. Yet another example, the lady will become very much aggressive, uses very abusive language, cannot tolerate any kind of contradiction, always ready to fight. Everybody should go as per her instruction. So in that case, when the dominating personality develops, then we say lachesis is the indicated remedy. It's a very good remedy for the menopausal problems. During menopause, if such kind of characteristic is there and the lady has a uterus fibroid, uterine fibroid or ovary cyst or any thyroid problem, then lachesis works well. I tell you, recently I have successfully treated a case of arthritis. A lady having left side knee arthritis and started at the time of menopause and having all these characteristic mental symptoms, prescribed lachesis 200 and then 1M with a duration of 5 to 6 months tremendous relief is there now. So these remedies, when we prescribe, they not only bring the mind to the quiet stage, from the unrest to the rest stage, but also they bring the abnormal hormone in our body to the normal level. And in homeopathy, there is no chance of giving the hormonal tablets. Hence, there is no side effect at all. And you do not have to take the medicine for lifelong. Once your body and mind comes to the normal level of health, further no need to take the medicine. You just stop it. Just then you think of that stage when you are free from any kind of mental or physical stress, and you will be in a stage where you will be enjoying only health and health and health. Further, if you have any query related to any kind of hormonal imbalance, etc., feel free to visit my site drmeeta.com and put your query in the query box. In the cured cases, just I will explain you. There is a case of ovarian cyst we can see here. This is the result of hormonal imbalance. So these are the symptoms, etc. Now there is a case I will show you here. Ovary cyst case. 6th of April 2015. It is a polycystic appearance of left ovary. This is the case we have taken on 6th of April 2015, and we started the treatment. Then the same year, after 5 months, 26th of September 2015, once the treatment became very much completed, then we advised her to undergo a scan again, ultrasound again, which has shown absolutely normal sonographic study of everything. The cysts were quite very much dissolved, and the treatment was stopped here itself for this. So these are the miraculous ways how homeopathy can bring you cure.